great Bobby Belt.
Bobby Belt is an idiot.
Don't make me take off my belt.
Don't make me take off my belt.
We're not.
Over to you, Bobby.
We're only 1 month in, and the economy has still turned around enough that the Cowboys have an extra $16 million. That's the word. Yeah.
Quotes,
yeah, air quotes, just like that. The NFL salary cap, a memo from the league was sent out yesterday to teams. The NFL salary cap will be somewhere between $277.5 and $281 million. And that is just based on...
which Jerry calculated to the T, right?
Not exactly. So
What's your point?
they sent out a memo to teams and let them know. Basically, there's just some final hurdle of the NFLPA has to make a decision based on if they want to take an entire sum and apply it to this year, or if they want to take a portion of it and roll some of it into next year. So that's why the figure will fall somewhere in there. They don't know yet. But it'll be somewhere in that range. And ultimately, if they say, nope, we want it all now, then that means that you will get a $281.5 million salary cap, which is $26 million leap, and is way over where some teams, and the Cowboys definitely, had the salary cap projected at this time last year. They thought it was going to go up by about $10 million. And so now I don't know if their projections changed when they got into the fall. Did they realize, oh, nope, this is going up? But last year, they felt like they were not going to see the same explosion of growth. And so at least for this year, it looks like their projections were off, and they've got to figure out why that was the case.
Well, you can play around maybe with Oso Odigizua. Could you talk about a free agent signing, or can that be more money for number 11? As Micah Parsons said, there's definitely a plan in place for his second contract. What does that actually mean? Well, Joel Corey, friend of the show, former agent, CBS Sports, he did a little breakdown of how to do this and do it early.
He said, call his bluff. Call Micah's bluff. He's scheduled to make a fully guaranteed $24 million this year on the fifth-year option. And he has said, I don't think there's any difference between 30 and 40 million. So what he is saying is call his bluff. Other players have taken cuts, taken reduced contracts, like Tom Brady. But Brady had already made a ton of money at that point when he started taking a lot of these cuts. He won a lot of his he won 3 titles on his rookie deal, and then he got paid, and then he took cuts. And then he started winning a bunch of titles again. Like, it was like, hey, this is kind of the way you got to do it. Well, he's saying call the bluff, but obviously that's not something that his agent wants to hear.
Now, before we get into the numbers, I want to say something that is not going to go over well. I'm just putting it out there because I think the Cowboys have tried to hint at this multiple times. They did it in the shoddy opening presser. No one talked about it. And we did talk about it during the CeeDee Lamb negotiations. Everyone keeps saying, don't wait. Why you guys wait? I think the Cowboys are trying to tell us, but not blast the player fully. Guys, we're not the only ones responsible for the holdup.
Yep.
He referenced Dak. He goes, Dak, would you agree? Smile for me back there. Smile for me. What he's trying to tell us is, and I do think we have to let them off the hook to a degree if it's true, the player asking for something way out of left field or right field causes a delay, right? CeeDee Lamb maybe wanted to wait for Justin Jefferson. So that's just not like Jerry and Steven kicking up their feet on the yacht, waiting and costing themselves more money with more people signing. Same thing for Dak, and maybe the same thing for Micah. Micah may want to wait for Trey Hendrickson. Micah may want to wait for other non-defensive players because now the title is highest non-paid quarterback. So his agent, David Mulligetta, he may want to wait. And that's not the Cowboys waiting. I'm just putting that. He may want to wait for Jamar. We're looking at Jamar Chase possibly getting 40 a year. He may want to wait for Crosby. He may want to wait. He may want to wait for Myles Garrett. I just wanted to put that out there because Jerry did it again during the Schottenheimer press conference. I think he's trying to tell us, y'all, it's just not us being lazy and behind the times.
Yeah, I understand that, but like, why do other teams get these things done though? A lot of times.
Well, give me the player. Like, if you are Lamb and Micah, I want to wait on everyone else because I'm that good. I can command top of market. If I'm Trey Hendrickson, I'm good. But I don't know if Trey Hendrickson has that same timeline of I'm going to wait for. There's no point for Trey Hendrickson, I don't think, to wait on Myles Garrett because I don't think Trey Hendrickson matches or tops Myles Garrett.
He's over 30.
Or matches or tops Micah Parsons. So if I'm Lamb, it makes more sense to wait than if I'm just trying to think of a lesser. If I'm T. Higgins, you know what I mean? Someone like that. That's just my theory.
Yeah, my thing is you don't have to wait until we're a couple of weeks into camp. Like Justin
it depends. When does Myles Garrett and Max Crosby get their money?
Well, Justin Jefferson signed in June. He was like, I'm gonna sign in June.
Yeah,
he didn't wait. He didn't wait on what CD got. He's like, I'm gonna sign. I'm gonna get into camp.
True. I have no answer for that.
So
when did Lamb get done after that?
It was around the same time Zach Martin got done the previous year, right? It was like
no, because Lamb didn't get done until we got back to Dallas. Lamb wasn't in Oxnard with his contract.
What month was it?
That was middle of August or something, or late August, something like that.
Couple months after. Yeah.
But no, by the way, yesterday Micah Parsons quote tweeting Dan Graziano's report about the salary cap, types LFG with an exclamation point, which is weird because I thought he didn't need to collect all the money. He was going to just give it back to them so that they could spend all of it.
Has he tweeted back to Lawrence Taylor yet, who said more playing, less podcasts?
I have not seen him do that
yet. Podcast.
What?
He's going to address it on his podcast.
That's right. So what do you have to say to what I just brought up about the player delay?
I think, players definitely will want to wait sometimes. And even if they want to wait, like, for instance, I think what the Cowboys are more guilty of is I don't think Dak, at the end of his first 4-year contract, was wanting to get tagged and wait around. Like, that was not something he wanted to do. He wanted to get it done then. Even if he was waiting for other contracts to fall, there reaches a point where you're like, but I want to get it done before this date, even if those deals aren't done. So that definitely is on the player for maybe delaying negotiations through a summer or something like that. The Cowboys have pushed things as far as possible, though, pretty frequently. I'm going to be interested to see if they can do that with Micah, if they want to try that tactic. And Micah may want to wait. David Mulugeta, who's his agent, has a history of when players are in the final year of their deal, if they are a big-time player, do a big-time contract, he is not having them go out there and risk injury. So it's like, you do not show up till we get a deal. Like Micah is definitely, I think...
So he won't be at OTAs or minicamp?
I don't think so. I think Micah is definitely a potential holdout candidate. That's not me saying Micah's going to hold out. I'm just saying if you follow the history of how Mulugeta has advised his clients through different things, then I would imagine that Micah is similar. Now, Micah could just say, I'm going to show up anyway because I want to, or I want to be involved there, or they could get the deal done earlier. But if this drags on a little bit, you might be looking at something similar to what you had with CD, where maybe he's missing some time until things get straightened out. But yeah, I don't think you're wrong that in a lot of ways, like I think Dak absolutely was just, there's no reason for me to sign until you meet my number. Like, this is my number. You either sign it or we drag this all the way out to the end. And the Cowboys ultimately went, okay, I guess we're signing him because he had all the leverage there. And so there's some instances where it's completely on a player. I think in a lot of ways, the Cowboys definitely have had a hand, though. Probably just not as much as they've been held responsible for, is what I would say.
Did you take anything else from Joe Corey's suggestions on how to do this and the numbers to throw out there?
No, so Joel is always really interesting to me in terms of the way that he approaches things.
Where's the interesting bell?
It's over here.
Bing. Okay.
It's with me now because you guys say it all the time, and I'm just nice enough not to hit it on you guys. Yeah, that's what it is. The thing is that Joel is generally, I feel like Joel's stuff a lot of times is not just hey, here's a suggestion. Joel's still pretty well connected in the league, and Joel knows how agents are talking, knows how teams are talking. So a lot of times when he lays things out like this and he's talking like this, it's more like he's trying to hint at something he may know. That's not always the case, but I feel like a lot of times when Joel says that, so when you read stuff like this, I think that it's a good indication of like, hey, these are real factors that are going on in these potential negotiations that everybody needs to be aware of. But I mean, ESPN was writing about Micah's extension the other day, and they said, look, there's other guys coming up who are going to try and demand that they are the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. That one, you might have more of an urgency on the Cowboys side to say, don't play that one out because that's a legitimate chance to get pushed up because Micah's not the clear-cut number one defensive player in the NFL. He's right near the top, but it's not like in the past where, oh, here's Mahomes. Or like, oh, here's, Justin Jefferson or whatever. He's not the clear-cut. He's right at the top with a bunch of other players. Over at the Star the other day, we were talking about the assistant coaches. This is good audio of Sean's favorite player on the Dallas Cowboys. Our training camp buddy, Jake Ferguson.
He's number 2 now.
He's number 2. Who's
After
number 1?
this year, I had to bump him.
Is it Overshown?
Yeah, it's Overshown.
Okay.
I'll take an injured Overshown over Ferg right now after that season.
Ferg, I've heard whispers, though. He is a somewhat frequent listener, too. So he's a fan of our show, so we got to be a fan of his,
Ferg,
too.
you are tied for first.
There we go. All right, so, and this will maybe bump him back to just number 1 overall. The other day when we were talking to the assistant coaches, Todd Archer is writing an article on how pre-draft visits work, and I imagine he's going to have that out next week, but just about the combine process. And Todd had asked Lunda Wells if he remembered anything specific about Jake Ferguson's combine interview with the Cowboys. This is cut 13, Peyton, and this is a pretty funny retelling of how Jake Ferguson pitched himself to the Cowboys.
The biggest thing I remember from his interview, at the end of the former interviews, I always ask the guy, say, turn to us and tell us why we should draft you. And he just said, man, I'm going to go out there and play hard and work hard, and I'm just going to him up. And Coach was like, okay, give me a little bit more. He's like, just going to him up. I'm like, okay, all right, got you, champ.
But sitting there with it, like, I could definitely say this, be like, I don't know, I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to kick his ass. What do you want me to do? The Cowboys a couple years ago had interviewed a player, I don't want to say who it was, but they interviewed a player at the Combine and had asked him, there was a late penalty, like a Sam Williams type penalty that you see. And they were,
when the penalty is just known as a Sam Williams type of penalty.
I forgot about him.
It was just a late hit. It was an offensive line with a late hit, and they had apparently asked him, they're like, "What? So what's the deal here?" He's like, "I don't know. We were their rival. We were losing. I was mad." And they're like, "Okay, so?" He goes, "So I just thought, F him." And I hit him.
And they're like, yeah.
They kind of liked it. They're like, you know what? We need to control a little bit, but we like the edge of just you don't like losing. You're just like, all right, screw this guy in front of me. Like, they want that tenacity.